Come to me on camera 3. Hey, everybody, here we go. We got everything
Come on,
rolling.
somebody.
Welcome to the God First Everyday Podcast. We appreciate you guys joining us today. My name is Bishop Ray Love. I'm excited for our podcast today. We have a special guest in with us today. I'm going to introduce you to him in just a moment. But want to say hello to everybody. Thank you for joining us. A big shout out to all of our crew and everybody that's helping us with the podcast. Deacon John is here today. Brother Rashad also helping with the lighting and production and marketing. And Cynthia's here today with us. And Angel's got his family with us today. So all is well, family. And we thank God for another opportunity. We're here another Monday. We did miss you guys last week. We were on vacation. So I thought about broadcasting live from the resort. But I was like, nah, we're not going to take that chance and do that. We just took a week off. So we're back and happy to be with you again. We like to do our podcast all the way live because we want you guys involved with us. We want you to ask questions. You got anything that you want to talk to us about? And that's why we do this all the way live. God first every day. Why is it God first every day? Because that's what God told me. He said, Ray, make sure it's me before you do anything. When you wake up in the morning, don't go to Facebook, don't go to Instagram, don't go to the YouTube news, don't go to YouTube, don't go to ESPN and see who won the games last night. He said, me first every day before you do anything. And I'll watch over you, I'll keep you, and I'll protect you. I'll protect your mind and protect your thoughts. I'll protect you from the deception that's going on in this world and everything else that's happening out there. And God has been true to his word. So I'm true to the word. I speak about it. I make sure that that's what I talk about and I tell everybody about. And that's been my thing. God first every day. That's how I live. That's how I walk. That's how I breathe. And I believe it. Everything that the Lord has said and told us. So first of all, before we get started, make sure if you guys join us on the podcast, maybe you're not watching this live, maybe you're watching this later, click that subscribe button, please. We want to make sure that you guys, when you do join us, we have a lot of people that come on and they're watching the podcast, but they don't subscribe to the channel. So we pray you'll do that. Click that like button. That's going to help YouTube know that this is content that people want to see, that they want to hear about it, and they'll help us get it out to more people. I want to give a big shout out to our sponsors, those that are helping us on this podcast. Dixon Pest Control. Big shout out to Jermaine Dixon and his company. If you got mice and rodents or pigeons or spiders and bugs and ants in your home, call Dixon Pest Control. They'll be happy to come out. Excellent service. The last 12, 13 years here in the high desert. God is truly blessing that business and their work that they're doing. You can find them at info@dixonpestcontrol.com. Send them an email and he'll be happy to hook you up. Tell him you heard about him on the podcast and he'll give you a discount. So big shout out to Dixon Pest Control. Big shout out to High Desert Scrubs. If you guys need scrubs, you need nurses, or you're in any kind of nursing program, you need scrubs, you need shoes to walk around in comfortably, you need stethoscopes or blood pressure monitors or anything like that, call High Desert Scrubs. They're right here in the high desert. You can find them online at highdesertscrubs.com and they'll be happy to hook you up. They also have a store right here on the corner of 7th Street and Bear Valley in the Food for Less parking lot right there, right next to Food for Less. So check out High Desert Scrubs for all your needs, all your medical needs, and all the things you need. Check out High Desert Scrubs in live and in person on highdesertscrubs.com. Also, big shout out to Epic Hair Salon and Prophetess Sharon Davenport and her support of this podcast. Ladies, you want your hair hooked up and done. Fellas, you need a nice fade or cut. Go see them over at Epic Hair Salon. They're also located on the corner of Bear Valley and 7th Street on the opposite corner, right behind AM/PM next to Little Caesars. So check out Epic Hair Salon. They will take care of you. They will hook you up. God-fearing, God-loving people. She'll even pray while she's doing your hair. And she will hook you up. So check out Epic Hair Salon. Big shout out to Spirit-Filled family. All of my Spirit-Filled family, all my brothers and sisters in Christ and the ministry and the works that we do there. You guys are doing an excellent job and everything. So we appreciate all our Spirit-Filled family. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, all your support, your donations, your help. We thank you very much for your love. You guys are looking for a home church. We're happy to have you here at Spirit-Filled. I am, many of you may know, the lead campus pastor here at Spirit-Filled Family Church, along with my beautiful wife, Lady Love. A big shout out to her as well. Come join us here at Spirit-Filled Family Church, 9980 Hesperia Road in the city of Hesperia. Every 10:30 every Sunday morning and on 7 p.m. on Wednesdays. So with that all being said, family, again, Thank you for joining us. Again, we do this podcast live, so we want your questions. We want your interaction. We want you guys to be a part of what we're doing here. So if you got any questions for myself or our special guest, make sure you ask those things, and we'll get to your questions. Deacon John is ready with the microphone to answer any of the questions that you guys might have. So now I want to introduce you guys to our special guest for today. His name is Angel. He's a very good man of God. He attended Victory Outreach Church. Good brother, man, and met him a little while ago, and we just clicked, right? You know, spirit recognized spirit, right? So I'm grateful to God to have a chance to meet him. If you guys went to the Southern California Revival Fest at Adelanto Stadium last year, well, this is how you're going to know this gentleman, because he's a big part of why that happened and making that work. So I want to introduce you guys. I'm going to let him tell you more about yourself, because, you know, I'll end up messing it up. He can tell you better about himself than I can. So I want to introduce you guys to Angel. Angel, say hello to the folks out there.
Man, first and foremost, Bishop, thank you for having me on the podcast. My name is Angel. I wear many hats. Founder of SoCal Revival Fest, founder of Random Lab TV on YouTube. Just trying to bring one body united, man. That's what I stand on. Bringing unity to the community, but it's just a beautiful thing. Shout out to my church, VO Victorville, Pastor Alex and Sister Tina. They send their love to you, Bishop, and it's just grateful to be here with you. You know what I mean? And just talk, man. It's a beautiful thing.
I don't have no notes or nothing, bro.
Come on, let's run it. Come on, let's run.
Freestyle it and talk about some of the things that you got going on.
Yes, sir.
You got a podcast as well that you have, and all the different things that you have working, man, and. You know, of course, we have a chance to talk more. We learn more about each other and the different things we're working on and doing. So I'll let that be up to you, man. Big shout out to Pastor Alex. You guys know how much I love him, man. My brother in Christ. In the trenches with him for years now. And you know, we just went to you guys' the revival you guys had most recently at the church. And a lot of people may not know. If you see the picture of me and my wife on our intro coming from our wedding, in the background, you see Pastor Alex standing back there. He's the one that married us for our 25th wedding.
That's awesome.
Me and my wife did a renewal, and it was awesome. He did that for us and hooked us up. So love the man of God. Love Victory Outreach, man, and all my brothers and sisters over there. And I'm grateful for God, man. I appreciate you being here with us, man. You know, I last year we were out of town for the Revival Fest, and then now that we know, I mean, I'm going to let you tell everybody about the date and everything, but you know, we're going to be in, actually, I think we go to Hawaii this year for our anniversary.
Come on.
See, we got married on May 30th, so that's our anniversary date.
Okay.
So, and then the fest is on 31st, right? So we'll be in Hawaii, but go ahead and tell everybody what that's about, man, how it came about. You know, tell them that testimony about, you know, the Revival Festival and everything that happened with that. Right?
Come on. So first, let me just want to give a shout out to my beautiful wife, man. We've been married for almost 13 years, man. My 3 kids, man. It's just such a blessing. And if you guys don't know, man, like when God puts a vision in your heart, man, you got to make sure that it aligns with the family too. You know what I mean? Because otherwise, you're dragging them on. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, man. We were going to a different church, and God has spoke, you know, life into us and said, "Hey, I want you guys to do a youth conference." And so, man, just trusting in God and believing what He said when He says, "Trust me," but also walk by faith, not by sight. But also, faith without works is dead.
There you go.
So when we announced that we were going to do a youth conference, we needed about 4,000. Within 2 weeks, we ended up getting 2,000 right away. Right. And so my faith has always been big. Like God's going to provide. God's going to provide. And slowly it started building. First night was about 500. Second night was about 600 and something. And what the crazy part is I wanted a drum line. And how many, you know, we know that God knows the desires of our heart, man. And so I wanted a drum line. And so I'm sitting there and couldn't make it happen. You know what I mean? Like, obviously school was getting out because our school was going in. It was September.
Right.
And all of a sudden, my pastor, you know, because I went to Bible college when I was younger. And so I wanted my pastor to come out here. And so he came out, and all of a sudden the drum line just starts going off inside the sanctuary. And I'm like, what? So I walk in, and I'm like, oh man, God, like it just touched me because, you know, just how much, you know, you want the desires, man. And even though it didn't happen the way I wanted it to happen, you know what I mean. But God just never failed, you know what I mean.
Right.
And so that kicked off, and little by little, man, like I was just stirring up something in my heart, like, hey, I need you to do something for the community. And so here's the reason why everything started playing out. My family, they won't show up to church. You know what I mean? They won't go to a church building. You know what I mean? And if they do, it's because we're inviting them,
Right.
but they won't go on a Sunday. You know what I mean? They won't go on a Sunday, period.
Right.
And so I was talking to God, and God was like, you can't do it at a building. You know what I mean? Because the church that I was at, man, we could fit at least 700 people.
Right.
Easy.
Right.
And God was like, nope. Why? Because what if another church wants to show up, and that's going to bring a little division there?
Right.
And so I was like, okay, God, well, what do you want us to do? And he was like, go to the stadium. And so I was like, man, all right, okay. So we met with the stadium, and it just started snowballing from there. My daughter, we get her every other week. And so June 29th was the official day that we had her. So we're like, hey, we got to pick this date because I want her to be there. And bro, it's just a beautiful thing, just how everything was setting up. And mind you, we didn't charge anybody.
Right.
Everything was free.
Right.
Like God said, you cannot charge anybody going into the stadium whatsoever. Right. And so I was like, okay, God, like you're gonna provide. That's a lot of money.
Yes,
and mind you, man, we had Miles Minnick, we had Brian Trejo, we had CJ Emilis, we had Generation Recovery, big name artists that are shaking up the kingdom right now. And they all came out, and just the love of the community. We had about 4,000 people show up.
Yeah.
And so, with this one, God is saying, shake it up a little bit more.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so we're just being obedient, man, to his call.
There you go.
You know what I mean? But yeah.
He'll do it, man. That we do know. God is faithful in those things, man.
Yeah.
Like you said, he always got a ram in the bush, right?
Yeah.
And when you think things are not going to work out, I even said this yesterday in the message I was speaking, man. Look, if God wants me to go somewhere, he's going to open doors that nobody can close.
Facts.
And if he doesn't want me to go, he's going to close doors that nobody can open. So there's no sense in fighting against it. And I've watched it myself time and time again, brother. And I that's when my faith in God is realized, because everything we do is another challenge.
Yeah.
It's like you did, okay, you did it last year. Now that's done, right?
Yeah.
Now this next one, God is giving you instruction on it.
Yeah.
And you're not supposed to know where everything's coming from. You just
good.
gotta have faith and trust Him.
Yeah.
I remember Deacon John was at the fest last year, and he called me on the phone. Bishop, where you at, man? I said, bro, we out of town, man. I wish I could have been there, but we were watching, everybody was shooting live, so we were watching a lot of the lives and stuff like that, because, I heard it a million times on the radio and everything, and knew what was happening. I was like, man, we're going to be out of town, but glad it went well, because when, I like I said, I watched the performances, and we know some of the people that were on the show, so we're good to see it happening, man, and glad to see everything worked out. Yeah. Because that's what God does, man. And you guys did an awesome job with it,
thank you.
He's only gonna, when you're obedient to what he says, man, he's only gonna make it bigger.
Yeah.
And brother, this is my dream, man, my passion.
Yeah.
I told you earlier, when I used to travel with gospel gangsters, man, we would be at festivals in Kentucky and in the middle of the woods and nowhere, man.
Wow.
We're talking about 2000, 2001,
Wow.
And I was like, man, how do they do this? They got all these big name artists, 4 different stages in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
And it's like, the reason they were able to do that, because it just wasn't one church. When we got picked up from the airport, one church van picked us up, and another church van from another church is picking up another group, and another, so I'm like, oh, that's how, because they got all of these different organizations working together to make this happen.
Right.
And that's always been my dream out here, man, is for us to be able to work together to help each other. And like you said, if it's out of church, it's different. Because it's hard to get other people involved with, because of that.
Yeah,
right?
Facts.
But if you do it away from that, or at a stadium, or at a venue that's away from, not only will you get more people from the outside to come in, right?
Yeah, right.
But you also get other churches to help and be involved and be a part of it, because they know that it's about God. And that's the one thing I'm grateful with Halo Project and Billy Mack and,
come on,
and
somebody.
all these others that we've been working with over the years, because that's the plan, man.
Yeah.
Is to get different organizations and groups to work together, so that we can make things happen, man. So ultimately that's the only way we're going to be able to do what God has called us to do.
That's good.
You know, I love Pastor Alex in that, man. And I'm grateful to God as I look at the Lord elevated him, right? Now he's over the region, right? And all the different churches. I was blessed to be there that night, you know, as that went forth and at the hotel over there. You know what I'm saying? So and we have that relationship, myself and him, Pastor Abel, Pastor George up the street, Pastor Ron Thomas.
Wow.
We all have that relationship. Like, look, it's not about just it's more than enough people to fill every church in here 10 times over.
Yeah, fast.
It's not about just us, but if we can all sync together and work together, what we can accomplish, man, and help and save souls and change lives, man, is just astronomical.
Yeah.
But it's not going to happen unless we're able to do that, brother.
Be united.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, hey, man, come holler at us.
Yeah,
come
100%.
Be on the podcast, come talk with us, and you know, we'll help spread the word. And
yes, I appreciate that.
Man, like I said, even though we can't be there, man, we're definitely going to help.
Thank you.
In every aspect, man, to make sure people know and come out. And man, people get saved at Christian concerts. Man. I the first one I did with Gospel Gangsters, man, back in, I think it was 99 or late 98.
Right.
The first concert I went to with him, bro, that's what really struck my heart, because I wasn't saved at the time.
Wow.
I hadn't accepted Christ, but they knew I was a DJ. There was a big show at LL Cool J.
Okay.
And they didn't want to do a tape show. They were like, man, Ray, we need a DJ, man. Can you go? And I was like, yeah. So we practiced for a few weeks. We did the whole set. Yeah. Went out there, man, did a beautiful show. After, it was different for me, because it wasn't the after show that we used to normally go get your drinks and kicking it with everybody. It was like we was backstage chilling, man. And then this one brother came, man. I always tell this testimony, man. This one dude, man, the most thuggish dude you ever seen in your life, man. The wife beater on, gold chain and a skull chain around his neck.
Come on.
He said, I want to be saved, man. I'm looking. And it felt like pastors came out of the woodwork.
Come on.
Like they were all around talking to people. But when he said that, they just all came and circled around, started praying. Dude started speaking in tongues and spitting out his mouth and got saved. And I'm standing in the back, man, like, I realized I had my hands in the air. I was crying, you know what I'm saying? And I had witnessed it in that aspect, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for us, we have to, we're the gatekeepers now. We're the one that God has given the ability to do these things. Right. And so we cannot be selfish. We can't be lazy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The laborers, we have to be the laborers and the workers. God has given us the opportunities, the radio station, the churches, the people that we know in the community, businessmen, people in the community, all of these things. God has given us these opportunities, so we have to take advantage of this and use it for them. And if we do this, man, people are going to get saved and changed. I know there was an effect, right? Yeah. At the last one, and you know, and the different things that happened. So I tell everybody, man, what's going on as well. And while we're talking, family, if you guys got any questions for my brother or myself, make sure you type those in. Remember, that's why we go live, because we want your interaction, we want your feedback. So make sure you guys, if you have any questions that you want to ask him, make sure you type those in. Deacon John is at the ready. So a little bit later on in the show, we'll make sure that we ask you guys if you have any questions or comments, so we can talk to you, okay? So you got a lot of other things going on, man, in ministry and work, and I got a chance to look at one of your podcasts and some of the things you're working with Natalie as well. Natalie Porras, she's more behind the scenes. You guys don't hear about her much on the radio station, but she has another podcast, and you guys. So tell us a little bit about that, man, and what you got going on with that.
Man, so so we got Random Lab TV. So Random Lab came out like 4 years ago. I was just a thought, like, oh man, Random Lab sounds dope, because it's just random stuff. Like it doesn't have to be, you know, you put yourself in a box when it's just this, you know what I mean? And so thought about it. Obviously, you know, one thing that God showed me with the Revival Fest is, you got to have a blueprint.
Yes.
In order for you to move forward, everything needs to be set out.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, you just don't go to a dirt lot and start building a house. Like, no, man, you got to have an engineer. You got to have plans.
Right.
You got to have everything set. And
Right.
and so with the Revival Fest was exactly that. Like, you know, God was said, you know, get the plans, get the blueprint. How do you expect somebody to jump on this vision if your vision is not even set forward?
There you go. Yes,
And
sir.
so I was just like, all right, God. And during the whole process of the Revival Fest, I'm talking to Natalie and my boy DB, and man, it'd be dope to have a podcast, to have all these artists come on.
Right.
And so we just sat there and we're like, oh man, what do we call it? And then Natalie was like, Inspirations from Above. And I was like, boom, there it is. And so we made the logo, we set out the questions, we started getting all the artists, you know what I mean? The blueprint.
Right.
The blueprint, right? So we're setting it out, and with that came, you know, another podcast, Get Motivated Podcast. So with that podcast, we have business entrepreneurs. So we wanted to elevate that, you know what I mean? Like, bring business people on the platform, and then just get to know who they are, how they keep Christ centered in the business, and then move forward. Because obviously not everybody's an entrepreneur,
Right.
but they probably have the idea of doing it. And so how do we keep like showing that, like, hey, just be an entrepreneur, just enjoy how they keep Christ centered, and how they build their business with Christ, right?
Right.
And so, you know, other stuff started popping up, man. We got devotionals on Monday, devotionals on Tuesday, devotionals on Wednesday, man. And then all of a sudden, me and my wife, I always wanted my wife to do a podcast with me. And so one day we go to an event, and we're talking to all the couples there, and they're like, man, you guys are that couple. And I was like, oh, there it is. Boom. That couple podcast. And so I'm sitting there talking to my wife, and she's like, let's do it. She goes, why not? And I kid you not, I jumped. I was like, what? We got to get this going. We got to put the lights here, cameras here, because my wife is not the person to be on camera. And so when she did it, man, when she said it, it was just like a vision just started rolling, man. And so we have that couples podcast now. It's that's just for like the marriages. You know what I mean? Like, we want to show how we go through it, period. Like, one of the podcasts, man, we had to go through it in order for us to talk about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so now we could go back whenever we go through a situation, go back to that. Look at how we overcame that, man, and just move forward. But yeah, man, Random Lab TV is something amazing. We have so every month we're dropping a music video of artists. So it's a 12 for 12. We're filming their music video, and we're dropping it under Random Lab TV too.
Okay.
And so we just want to be the content for the Christian hip hop community. You know what I mean? I think we're going to be a pillar for the hip hop community, and because there needs to be a standard set.
Yes.
So right now there's a standard that's kind of wonky a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, do we go in the secular realm? Do we make it a mainstream? Do we do this? Do we do that? And it's like, you guys are playing on fire. Good luck.
You know, God will guide. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, I've been around many big time artists, man.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, man, they always toy with that. You know, do I just want to label myself a gospel artist? Do I just want to label myself a gospel rap artist? Or do I just go secular but be clean, right? And the thing that I've always said, man, is that, you know, Jesus said either for me or against me.
Come on.
You know what I mean? Like,
Come on.
I'm not going to play with, you know, I'm going to trust God. And that's the thing about why God gives us the opportunities he gives us, because he says, you're faithful with little, I'll bless you with more.
Much, yeah.
You know, and that's what he'll do.
Yeah.
We can be what we're doing and still reach who we need to reach.
Yeah, that's good.
And who God wants us to. The thing that I always say, like I was talking the other day, like, why we'll never see Kirk Franklin on a halftime show, you know, Mary Mary, right?
Yeah,
or Love Connection, or, you know what I mean?
Facts.
Miles Minnick or nothing like that.
Yeah.
You know, if you ask me, man, I'll just tell the truth about it, man. I think the halftime show was whack, bro. I mean, it was.
Come on,
somebody. It was stale.
Yeah,
you know
it
what
was.
I mean? It was stale. And,
yeah.
And if I was his management, I would say, man, look, do your two hottest songs, take up the time, and just let it rock. All of that, it wasn't It wasn't that.
It wasn't it.
Yeah. And you know, now,
That's
you know,
good.
people will say what they want. You know, my daughter was like, well, I kind of listen to the music, so yeah, I feel you, right? You're already a fan of his, so it's different. But if you're trying to gain more, you know, for me, I'd rather, I came out of that, so I don't mind watching and looking and see what these guys are doing and what's happening. I don't know Kendrick Lamar's music. Of course, I've heard that song because it's everywhere.
Everywhere,
You know what I'm saying? You can't get away from it anyway. But I don't follow the hip hop game. I don't, you know. Man, God had me a few months back, man, looking at BT just to kind of see what the videos were. I was mortified, bro. Like dudes in there with demon faces and morphing in the videos and the everybody's half naked and I was like, wow, like this is like, I thought it was bad when I came out of it.
It's worse
and,
now.
It's just horrible, man. And it's like the devil's cards are all on the table.
Yeah.
And I think, for me, man, why I'm so adamant, and I'm, you know, I just turned 56, bro, and I told God, like I was telling you earlier, man, when we did our last Love Connection Hour, the album, the crossover, I was like, well, you know, I'm too old to be doing all this. You know, I'm like, that was gonna be it. God said, no,
no.
You know, you can still do it, right?
Yeah.
You can still rap, you can still make music and do all of this. But now it's time for me to start developing other artists.
That's
right?
good.
Making tracks for other
So
people.
good. Yeah.
Now God has given me, like the thing I used to complain about in the past, even as a hip hop artist in the secular realm, was people, we didn't have the opportunities.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
that's
saying?
good.
We didn't have, but now God has given us the opportunities
to give to
do
them
for other people.
Yeah.
You know, and to help the next. But the Christian game, man, with music. It's not to be played with. We see what happens, man. You know, with all of the famous stars, there's been several, and I don't put names out there, but
facts.
that problems that are happening because, you know, artists, we brought one out before, and next thing we know, we wanted to make it an annual thing, and then problems came up, and now, you know, and so you have to be solid. You have to be solid in this game. I was afraid to put my wife when we first started rapping back in the day because I've been around the world traveling. I've seen gospel people that weren't fully gospel.
Yeah, they weren't with it.
I've seen the bad side of it. I've seen how the money behind a lot of these gospel labels is the same money Interscope is behind. You know, Aftermath.
Ooh,
and
you
Dr.
speaking
Dre.
real. Come on.
Interscope is also behind some of these big major labels. Sony is behind these other labels, and they're also behind these gospel labels, and it's like the same money. So there's a pigeonhole. I found that out because being in that genre.
That's good.
I found out that there's a level of what you can do.
Yeah.
They're gonna have a voice on what you say and who your producers are and all of these things. They start to pull shots and do things because you want to get paid.
Yep.
So
well, guess what? You're gonna end up working with a secular artist knowing you don't want to do it because you're signed to this label.
They wanted to put us on tour, have us on tour with DMX and Rough Riders and Snoop and all of that. And they fought against it. They were like, no, we're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Now,
that's good.
You do one show here. And back then when we did that show with LL, he had gotten saved. I don't know if most people don't remember that. He had gotten saved. So they wasn't really tripping about doing that. But to be on a tour, and all the ruggedness that goes on, you know what I'm saying, the different things that happen out there. It was like, nah, but they're not caring about the message. They're caring about the money.
Yeah, how many people show up?
Right, and selling records and you know, and back then it wasn't about live streams because that wasn't
in yet. Yeah,
about selling CDs and then selling out shows and stuff and so it's a. I really was really leery about my wife being a part of that, but you know, Lord told me to, you know, you stay right and stay focused and protect her and my wife can rap, man. You know what I'm saying? She got that voice.
Fire.
People always talking about her voice is, you know, they don't give me no comments. On
they're all giving her flowers and now you. Come on.
I'm cool. That's all right. That's my baby, so we good. You know what I mean? But it's just.
You know what the standard is, man, and this is what scared me when we first did the first Revival Fest. Some guy sat me down and he said, hey, look, whoever you put on that platform, you're accountable.
Yep.
No matter what you say, no matter what you do, you are accountable who gets on that platform. And that's where I kind of just like, oh man, like I was doing research on everybody, man. There were some people that had asked to be on it, man. I couldn't let them, man. Right. I couldn't, because it was, obviously I am nobody to judge. I'm nobody to sit here and, oh, you can't be on this, you can't be on that. No, man, but in the end, man, it has to be accountable. Yeah, I got to be accountable to God on the situation.
Yes, sir.
And so if somebody speaks negative that's not biblical, guess who's in trouble?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Not the leaders, the ones who,
not the artists even.
Not the artists even. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be you, because you're building the platform for them to speak on.
Yeah.
Same thing with a church, right?
Yeah.
People come in here to, and I tell people all the time, I'm responsible for everything that comes before these people.
That's good.
As a shepherd of God's people, right, I have to make sure that every voice that's spoken and heard here is following and doing what God says.
Yeah, that's good.
I always tell people, man, look, if once you cross that line from sitting in the pews, coming to church, and being involved with ministry, your life has got to line up.
Right.
Just same way mine.
Facts. That's good.
How would you, how would you feel if I, as your pastor, me and my wife not married, but we living together? You know what I mean? Like
preaching on the pulpit. Come on.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's the same if you're involved in the praise team,
yeah,
or you're playing drums, or you playing keyboard, or if it's the same thing.
Yeah, that's
good.
With
just different offices. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm glad that they said that to you, because I know that feeling, right? Because you put people up there, and there was a couple times we did some different shows with some different folks, man, and their doctrine was off, and I got people out there, we're sitting out there like, man, and then some of the ministers are like, Bishop, what's up with this? I'm like, I'm not going to walk out because we have an opportunity to go up and say what we got to say.
Yeah, the real stuff.
But you have to be diligent about that part.
Yeah, that's
you know
good.
what I'm saying? You have to be diligent about making sure what you bring before the people is legitimate. Because there's folks out there that are not, like I said, their mind ain't fully in it. And they if they could be secular, they'd do it. But maybe they found an inroad, right?
Come on, you speaking now. Ooh, that's the problem, man. That people are trying to do that, man, and that's where. Okay, so I haven't shared this with anybody, but I would love to share it here. So we're actually in the works of developing an artist development program. And so we want to set the standard. Like, listen, in order for you to be on this stage, we want you to take this course. We want to make sure that you're serving in your church. We want to make sure that you're actually serving. Like, the number one thing is we're here to serve. Right. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus was here to serve. You know what I mean? Like, what makes you different? You know what I mean? Like, and so we want to develop something where it's a standard. Like, everybody's gonna have to go through it, and it's just to build their character, man. Like, a lot of these guys are coming in from the secular world, and they get saved. 2 weeks later, they're dropping a whole album. Right. Like, my boy, come on, yo, where's your heart at? Where's your accountability? You know what I mean? And I tell every artist this, man, because I'm in contact with a lot of artists, and I tell them, don't go anywhere by yourself. Period. Like, I don't care what you're doing, you take somebody with you, whether it's your son, whether it's your boy, you go with somebody in twos. You know what I mean? Because otherwise the accountability starts going off, right? And so in that artist development program, we want that to be something major. It's like, where's your servanthood? Where's your accountability? Teach them how to talk to how to do like podcasts. Teach them how to develop good in the studio, because some artists go in there thinking that they're Mr. Big Shot, and it's like, bro, you can't talk to the engineer like that. You're supposed to show the light. Right. Two, you're supposed to. Sometimes the engineer probably knows more than what you know. Right. Be more loving. You're like, hey, you know what, bro? I don't like that, man. Maybe we could switch it right here, right? But I seen, like, bro, some dudes.
It's ministry. Yeah, it's ministry.
There you go.
The Bible tells you that a new convert shouldn't be a pastor, right? Or a preacher, right? Why? Because the devil's going to attack them. And tear them up. And if I'm going to be behind artists and people, man, I'm going to make sure this is what God has called you to do. Dude, that's good. Because you will get out there and you will get tempted. You will have to go through that. It's going to happen to you as a Christian anyway. But as a voice. For the word of God, all you have to do is look at the Christian hip hop industry, man.
That's
all
good.
you have to do is look at so many people that have been involved with it.
Yeah.
And there are so many solid ones that the rumors out there about them are bad anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
So,
good.
you know, yes, we have problems, but then the light's shining on you now.
Yeah.
And God has given you a gift and talent. So again, the artist development thing is beautiful because guiding them through this, right? So how many times when I first got saved, man, like I said, I was out there. It took a while before God, you know, the Lord was grinding me out of me.
That's good.
The whole lifestyle. And it was when I finally said, after a time, after getting saved, I finally said, okay, God, I'm throwing all of this DJ stuff away. I'm done.
Wow.
I was saved, bro, in the nightclub trying to play radio versions.
Come
you know
on.
what I'm saying?
All clean versions?
Yeah, I got virgin
Come on.
drinks, right? Making
Come
it look
on.
like I'm drinking with everybody else. And
Yeah.
no, nobody wants to hear that in the club late at night, right?
Nah.
So I swap places with the other DJ. I'm the late night one, the one everybody supposed to be hearing, but I swapped places so I could play radio versions.
Got you.
And then God finally was speaking to my heart, and I realized that life, I'm trying to hold on to something the
That's
Lord wanted me
good.
to let go.
That's
and
good.
finally I said, okay, I'm done with this, God. I had the same voicemail pager. I still know the number, man. Like, I said, I'm going to sell all this equipment. I'm getting rid of everything, God. I ain't doing this no more. I'm done. And that's when the Lord spoke to my heart, and he said, use it for me now.
Come on, somebody.
And then next thing I know, brother, I was on tour, man. I was on the road.
That's
I was
so
going cross
good.
country. I'm on TV, Sister Magazine. You know, Montel Jordan Show, BET Live. You know, going to cross country tours, Ocean County Supertones.
Awesome.
Supertones. I'm in Helsinki. I'm in London. You know what I'm saying? I'm all over the country, man. Flying and it's like the Lord was able to send me to do those things because I got that out of me.
That's good.
And the thing about a lot of these guys that get saved and now they want to use that talent for the Lord, they don't know what they're going to be facing. And for us, we got to help them. We got to say, hey, man,
that bridge.
The devil's going to come knocking at your door, man.
Yeah.
And he's going to come, and you have to be solid in this.
Yeah.
Attacks are going to come.
Yep.
Things are going to happen to you, and you have to be solid in this.
Yeah.
Solid in your word and understanding of God, so that way you don't fall.
That's good.
And then, because what does the devil want to see, right?
Yeah, don't want to see it happen.
Smite the shepherd, sheep will fall, right?
Yeah.
Sheep will scatter, and so he wants to put people up and then try to cut them down.
Yeah.
I know you faced it. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
I faced it all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and all those that are out there doing it. I know we got a live chat going on over there, Dick. I don't know. We got any questions that anybody asked out there? Give them a chance to say hello to my boy, and if they got any questions out there, just tap it, press and hold the button. Okay, now you live.
Okay, we got quite a few people out there. Stephanie, Monica Hall, K Rizzle's in the building. Lay Love said we've been doing this gospel rap thing since 1999.
Yes.
Come on.
Yeah, y'all been doing it. Larry Lace say, Bishop, I did want to mention about Lady Love bars. She got them flows.
Come on, somebody.
She got them flows. And then Tim Brown say, yeah. And Bishop, you set an awesome example. And really not no questions at this time. Okay. But to the brother in Christ that's here, I was there at Soundcheck.
Come on.
And I'm a rapper too.
Let's go.
But I was doing it for the wrong reasons. And we could have made it. We could have got signed with Death Row.
Right.
But God didn't have that for me.
That's good.
So when I did my single, I said, every lyric that I write now is going to give God glory, honor, and praise, or else I ain't going to say it.
That's good.
So when we go out, I be subbing for Bishop's armor bearer.
Yeah.
So I got there doing sound check.
Ooh.
I seen all of them sound check.
Yeah.
Miles Minnick.
Yeah.
Sound like his record.
Yeah.
And I said, Father, they not doing nothing that I can't do.
That's good.
He said, you right.
That's good. Come on.
Right.
Speak.
And I said, I don't know if I'm gonna be on that stage next year.
Yeah.
But my songs will be ready.
Come on.
So now Bishop's gonna produce one. Your boy Unique.
Yeah,
he heard my single.
Salute to Unique.
Yeah, he heard my single.
Wow.
Me and him gonna work together.
That's good.
And the Light Man, me and Rashad, we got some little things.
Come on,
that's
somebody.
Gonna go for.
He called me like me.
And
on.
when you came in, we was passing through each other because I was there the whole time.
Yeah.
And I met all those artists.
Man, come on.
And I said, Lord, I gotta be ready.
He
Yeah.
was calling
yeah.
me like, Bishop, where you at, man? You ain't here. All you have to do is tap it, John. When you see that red light, then you know it's off. Right?
And that's the thing, man, is you know, me and my wife, like we're not trying to be out there like, hey, look at us. It's,
right.
Because it's not our glory, man. Like we're not trying to do it. We're not doing none of this for us.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we went home with nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a reason for that.
Right.
God specifically said, do not come home with nothing. Okay, God.
Amen.
You're going to provide.
Yeah.
2 days before the event, everything's paid for.
Amen.
2 days. And so we're just like, what? Mind you, it's a big budget.
Yes.
It's a big budget. It's a stadium. We have a car show. We have a main stage, man. And you know, one thing I'll tell you, man, is just when faith without works is dead.
There you go.
If you're not putting in the work, like my brother said, he's putting in the work. He's gonna make the music. You know what I mean? And that's for us too, man. Is like we want to make sure that we give the community something to where this is ours.
Right.
This is, man, I was tired of driving down the hill, man. I was tired of driving to LA to go see a show, man. It's far. Mind you, I got 5 of us, right? So now they're $30 a ticket. You got $30 a ticket. Then you got to pay for food. Then you got to pay for parking. Then you got to pay for T-shirts and all that. Man, you're looking at a $700 tab right there.
Yeah.
And so the vision behind it was, what if your cousin wanted to show up? You think he's going to pay $30 to go to a festival?
Right.
A Christian festival?
Right.
No, he won't.
Right.
But if it's free, at least we be that bridge for them, man. That's what it's about. It's just to be the bridge, man. But I want to encourage you, big dog, is keep going.
Oh yes, sir.
Keep pushing, man. Like when it comes down to it, man, the music, when you have a good, talented producer, like Unique, man, oh my God.
We clicked.
Fire.
Cause
Yeah.
you know, my boy Unique,
Yeah.
he said same name.
Yeah.
So we were just chopping it up, and I shot him my single,
Yeah.
and he like, get at me. And so
Fire.
you know, now I know Bishop's producing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have different producers
Yeah.
on my album because
fire.
I've been doing this since the 80s.
Yeah.
But I was doing it the wrong way.
Yeah. Facts.
Now I'm doing it for God.
That's what it's
It's
about.
gonna go around the world, save souls.
Yeah.
I want 100 million souls
Yeah.
saved because
Yeah.
he's listening to our music. And the first thing I said,
Yeah.
Love Connection need to be on the stage.
Yeah.
Love Birds need to be on this stage. And I'm calling Bishop every 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, you good, John. That's just your hand when you waving. Don't care.
Yeah, and that's where
I'm just excited about
Yeah,
it.
no,
that's all good.
I feel it, man, and that's where, you know, with us too, like we're chosen few. Me and my boy Jono, we do music too, man, and I couldn't write for years. So I was writing when I was 14, 15. I went to Bible college when I was 19. As soon as I got out there, man, we had somebody that was in our building. He ended up stealing all our tablets, our computers, and everything. Bro, I was making beats. I had everything locked in. I had a whole bunch of songs that were recorded on there. And after that, man, I just felt like I was drained. Like, man, like something just ripped something out of me, man. And so I went about, as a matter of fact, funny story, man, when I came back from Bible college, I put God on the shelf.
Yeah.
I said, I don't want nothing to do with you, God. Your people are fake. Your people are phony. They're all liars. And so I put them on the shelf for about 10, almost 12 years.
Right.
And I couldn't write in between. Like I knew God had something planned, but I couldn't understand it, man. And so when we started with the youth conference, like I started seeing the yearn. Like I had this yearn for the music. And I just prayed one day and I was like, God, just give it back to me. You know what I mean? Like, I'll do it for your glory only. Like, it's not for me, it's for you only. And man, like the next day, man, I'm sitting there, I started writing, everything just, like that writer's block was gone.
Right.
And so ever since then, like you got to have the passion for these events, man. And the music is what brings the community together. You know what I mean? Like, if you think about the big festivals like Coachella, you know what I mean? No matter what color, what race, everybody's there chilling and they're listening to music. And so if we do not saying that we use their concept, but if we use it over here for this.
The concept is what it is, and it works. And the Lord told me that many years ago. He said, start with music.
That's good.
And God showed me this long before Christian hip-hop music was big.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he said, this is how I'm going to reach the world. He said, look at hip-hop music, how it has affected the entire world.
Yeah.
In every nation,
Yeah.
in every culture, the hip hop music. Now, no matter what language you speak, now you rapping, you know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
got them hip hop beats. He said, this is how I'm going to do it. So he said, do it through the music. Music has always been what's a church without worshiping, right? The worship music and that's the opening that God has given us.
That's good.
And the opportunity that He's given us. So and that's why for me, man, I understand your feeling, right? When you because that's why I said you can't be a new convert, right, in doing this, because you have to go through periods of learning how to walk,
right,
and then falling.
Yeah.
You know, I tell this real quick, man. We were in I think it was North or South Carolina one time, and this one young brother knew he just got saved, man.
Right.
But he was rapping, and he was just hype. You know, he had that zeal,
Yeah.
and he was on stage rapping, and you know he was all excited. And then he saw some people way down on the other end of the park that were buying food and weren't listening. And so this brother jumped off the stage and ran over there to get their attention so they come. You know what I mean? Like that's that mindset that you have, that when you get saved, you feel what God has done to you.
Yeah.
And you think that as soon as you tell somebody about Jesus, they're going to change, right?
Yeah,
like
well,
immediately. I was the same way.
Yeah.
Did you know I was in the club, bro, smoking weed, drinking, and doing what I was doing? God saved me, changed me, man. That's cool. That's cool, bro. You know what I'm saying? They go, you know, like you, and then you have to go through that. You know that there's a period that you have to go through, because you're looking at people and you're judging them on how they live and how they do, until you fall, until you make some mistakes, until you do some things, and then you understand the grace of God. So this is why it's a learning period, man, and a transition time for us as we grow in this. And again, you know, that's why I love syncing up with you, man, and others like yourself, man, because this is how we're going to make change, bro. This is how we're going to be able to do it. And God has given us inroads to things, but we got to stay solid. You know, I always say, and I tell people all the time, I don't talk bad about other pastors. I don't care what their doctrine is. There's enough people in the secular world trying to beat us up, man, for us to be beating up each other. You know what I'm saying? And maybe your doctrine's a little off. Maybe God's going to touch you later. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe you had an opportunity to be you're out there and you had an opportunity to do Christian rap, and maybe you're not perfect in what you're doing, but maybe God will use that later, or change you, or help change your heart. So I don't do it. And God didn't call me He said, go into all the world and preach the gospel. He said, make disciples, right? He didn't say go battle other pastors and talk. You know what I mean? So I don't spend my time on that, man. But
you know what the problem is, man, is that these artists are looking at the views and the follows.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are you doing it for?
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I do look at my following too.
Yeah.
Man, we got 2 more people, cool. But it's not where I'm like, oh man, dang, that song didn't do so well.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, bro, like if it reached one person, that's all that matters for me. You know what I mean? And that's where a lot of these artists, they lose that zeal that you're talking about, because they're like, oh, I'm gonna go full force, and then it's not what they expect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because don't get me wrong, the Christian community is gonna back you up.
Yes.
But one mess up, done. You know
because the same way as a pastor, I'm responsible for what, you know, if I invite an artist to come sing in our church, I'm responsible for what goes before these people. And you have to be cognizant of that as you are doing these things for God. As you become, like I said, when you cross that line of being a Christian and believing in the Lord and going to church and going to work and serving, but when you cross that line into ministry, it changes, man. And the way the devil comes at you, the responsibilities that you have, the trials and testings that you go through, ups and downs, it changes. And you know, this whole thing of ministry and music and works, it can do what God said it's going to do. But the main thing I always do is I read my word, and my word tells me that the road to eternal life is narrow, man. If you find it, the word to destruction is wide. So if we do a concert, man, and there's 500 people and 10 of them come down for the altar call, magnify your name, Jesus, right? Because few find it, and here are few. And if we did all of this, if we spent all of these thousands of dollars, what can a man purchase, or what would a man give for his soul? Or what does it profit a man to gain the whole world or lose a soul? So what does it mean if we spend $8,000 to do this big old concert, but we only, and 5,000 people showed up and only 10 people came and got saved? Yeah. You think God, you know what I mean? He would do it all again the next day. You know what I'm saying? Did it? His battery died?
Yeah, Tim let me know.
Oh, okay. Cool. Get this. Oh, okay. Well, is it that battery over there? Let me see that. Let me see that real quick. No, yeah. Unplug it. Turn his mute his mic first. Turn that off. The red one. Number 2. I'm number 1. Okay. Now unplug it, twist it, and then loosen that. John, we're gonna swap those batteries out. Get in that drawer right there. Open it very, very loosely, and then grab a couple batteries. Let me see that. Let me swap them out real fast. It don't take but a couple seconds, and then we can get him back online. I think, yeah, these were older batteries, so. And thanks, Brother Tim, for letting us know, man. We appreciate it. That way we can have a better. You can probably still hear him through my microphone, but we want to make sure that your mic's probably still good, then. Yeah. Yeah. It was just the bass itself that went out. Okay. Now you, Cynthia, go ahead and plug that back in that plug. And the cord that you pulled out, it should be, you see it? Yeah. Yep, put that in that one, yep. Put it in there, screw it in, and then turn it back on, and we should be all the way live. We should be good. Little things, it's the little thing. but that's when you go live, man. Yeah. Okay? Test your mic.
Check, mic check.
We back live, we good.
We good.
Amen. So,
no, man, that's where it's a very difficult thing, man. I try to just, I encourage a lot of artists, man. Like I said, man, we deal with a lot of them, man, and it's what we do with them, how we help them out. That's the plan. It's like the Revival Fest is all fun. Like that's amazing.
Right.
But it's not our main goal. You know what I mean? It's not our main goal to keep it going. Like our goal is to have. So after the festival, right? There were so many other people that were doing stuff in their city. So shout out to my boy MOG. Mm-hmm. He ended up doing a give back in his city, and he was one of the finalists. So we had a cipher there. So one of my boys, his name is Christway, and he was working in the secular world, got saved, man, and then God put it on his heart to do a cipher. Mm-hmm. Well, he ends up hitting me up and he goes, "Hey, bro, is it cool if we do it at the festival?" And I said, "Bro, that's not my vision.
Right.
I can't take charge on this. God put this in your heart."
Right.
And so what he did, he ended up, putting beats out there that he made, had them record it, submit it, and then boom, like he made the finalists. And we had people from North Carolina, we had people from Georgia, right. Like just all over the world showing up to that festival that day, right? And the cipher went wild. And it was just a beautiful thing. And MOG was one of the finalists. And so he didn't win. We had a guy from Arizona that's from Long Beach. His name is Church. And he won. But MOG took the vision and went and planted it at his cities.
There you go, yeah.
And so that's the goal, is like, just look at what God did. Mm-hmm. He could do for you too in your city, man.
And he doesn't stop, man. The plans of the Lord go forth, bro.
Yeah.
And one thing I always say is God is good at what he does.
Yeah. Crazy,
We just have to be obedient to what he says, and he makes things happen, man.
Yeah.
Did we have any other questions out there, Deacon John, before we, because I want to make sure we're going to have you tell everybody the date and everything that's going on. Do you have any artists set already?
Yeah.
So we can talk about a little bit of that. But let's see if we got a couple questions out there.
I was going to save this for after the podcast to talk to you, but I was there with some older saints.
Yeah.
And Sister Yvonne's question, some older people say that is double music. How can you explain it to them? The saints that were in my booth, they said they like it, but they couldn't understand it. I know it was really to attract youth.
Yeah.
But they would say, you know how to talk to people.
Yeah.
Go tell them that we need something for the older saints also.
Got you. So we did have, so we had MC Boulevard. Mm-hmm. We had MC Boulevard. So we wanted to, if you look at the lineup from last year, this year is going to be a little bit different. But we had corridos. You know what corridos are like Mexican banda. So it's a Mexican type of music. So we had an artist from there. We had rock. We had oldies like MC Boulevard. So we had stuff like that. We just wanted to bring, like, they probably miss them because it's a hard thing to do when you have
everybody in
yeah.
all
So
day long thing.
yeah. So you know, our goal was to bring different types of music, man. But when it comes down to this music, man, like, you know, if they can't relate, I would suggest at least try.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At least try, because when their nieces and nephews and grandsons, like, when that's what they're reaching right now, you know what I mean? And so when you bring that, how would you say? I don't want to say it wrong, but when you bring like, that music's from the devil, well, it's gonna push somebody else away because now they can't. They're like, oh man, you can't relate to me. But when you say, hey man, I said just try to listen to it, that might stir things up for them to want to come to church now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because we're supposed to be a bridge.
Yes.
You know, music is not for us to serve the music. It's supposed to be the bridge to God and to the church, right? And so if Miles Minnick was the reason why I came back to church. I mean, obviously it was my son,
Right.
but the music, man, I love E40.
Right.
I love Too Short, man. I love that music. That's what I was bumping back in the day, man. And so when Miles came out with the same exact beat, like, I was like, hey, I can relate to that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And you
And
can hear what he's speaking
yeah,
and the truth about it.
Yeah.
You know, that's the same thing. My wife would tell you, man. Many years ago, we started rapping in our old church. People got up and walked out.
Wow.
You know, because they, you know, I've been at concerts, bro. And remember, I was back in this in '99
Right.
with Gospel Gangsters 2000. And people were picketing outside the concert because of rap music and don't understand it. And what God told me a long time ago, man, it's in the message. It's the message that's that's being spoken.
Yeah.
And the same people that are saying that the Christian hip hop is the devil's music, listening to Beyonce.
Yeah, facts.
Listening to all these other, you know what I'm saying?
speak.
But now
Come on.
you're putting a message that's speaking the truth about the gospel of Jesus Christ, and they say, well, that's the devil's music. No, the problem is we let the devil have too much.
Ooh,
When
that's
TV
good.
came, it's the devil, it's the devil.
Yeah.
Now everybody wants to preach on TV.
Yeah.
When radio, it's the devil, and now everybody wants a radio show. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
we
good.
let the devil have too many inroads and stuff. He can't create nothing.
Yeah.
He steals.
Yeah.
He steals, kill, and destroy is what he does. He doesn't create anything.
Come
and
on.
I learned a long time ago, man, when my lyrics are God inspired. Bro.
Yeah, facts.
They came to me, and some of them came to me in dreams and visions. I had to wake up in the middle of the night and take my phone and record it.
Come
I was
on,
like,
that's
I don't wanna
good.
forget this.
That's
But
good.
my wife did it one night. I heard her over there
Yeah.
whispering, and the next morning I said, "What are you doing?" She
Yeah.
did the song that she came up with, and man, that was one of our greatest songs. You know,
Right.
but like. It's people don't understand it because they're pigeonholed into it. Most of the gospel stuff that was in the 70s and 80s
Yeah.
was the old juke joint music back in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah. That's good.
And so it shifted so that those people have something that they enjoy listening to.
Yeah. That's
So
good.
that's why, like, for me, like these young rappers that are out there now, I don't hate on no Christian rappers,
Yeah.
man. Even though your style is different than what y'all doing,
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
good.
hate on it
That's good.
because it's what these kids are listening to in
Yeah.
the style now.
Yeah.
So I don't have to change what I'm doing. 'Cause
Yeah.
I just change how I do it or adjust with the times.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna hate. But I can't deal with this stuff that's out here today and listen to this music.
Yeah.
But it's the message that's being
Yeah.
spoken. It's not about the people talk about beats is unholy. Come on, the same drums that they playing is the same drums we got in church. The
And the
same
church.
keyboard they're making in trash make, same keyboard that's over
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I go to Stater Brothers, the same bread that the atheists buy, I eat in my house.
Yeah,
You know
come
what I mean?
on.
The same
That's
car.
fire.
Your cars are the devil too. Like,
Yeah.
Now that's not to belittle
Yeah,
nobody.
yeah, yep, that's good.
But I'm speaking the truth of God is that it's not the devil's music. It's
Yeah.
God music. And if we don't get behind what's going to be able to, Paul said, I become all things to all people,
Yeah.
so I can preach the gospel.
That's good.
You think it's going to change for hip hop music, right? For Christian hip hop music, right? So many people, well, say gospel rap, don't say Christian hip hop. Don't say, man, listen.
Yeah.
Say
yeah.
Jesus. You know, some people, there ain't enough Jesus in that song. You know what I mean? Listen to, I can't understand what you're hearing. I tell you what these kids do.
What about the testimony?
Right.
Yeah.
And the word that's being spoken. And it ain't always going to be. You can't always come to everybody. Romans 13:5 says, you know, Ephesians 2:3 says, you know, no, I don't have to do that, and I can say the same thing and put it in a song. Yeah. Look at all throughout the Bible, man. Even God said to Moses, teach them this song so they'll remember my... I can, come on, you can't tell me you can't spit all of E40's album.
Yeah,
you
facts.
still remember it.
Yeah, facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't tell. I can spit all of the Rakim's old stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Eric B and Rakim, Run DMC's old stuff. You still remember all of that. So if you're filling yourself with things of God. Yeah. And like you said. When I first started rolling with gospel gangsters, I didn't even know their music, bro. Yeah, I had to sit and listen to the album while we riding on planes and stuff, so I could, you know, I could do anything with anything, even hearing it. Yeah. But I didn't know their music like that because I was out of the world. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, but I was like, oh, okay, this is, and the album I can see clearly now was banging.
Banging. Oh, it's my favorite album.
That album, bro, it's certified gold. You know what I mean? And all the things, and again, you're getting the Grammy nomination when there isn't even a category.
Yeah, that's good.
Right? And so the people that were reached, the testimonies, the things I could tell you that happened.
I'm one of them.
Out there. Yeah,
I'm one of them.
Amen.
I'm one of them,
it's
man.
like you can't, you know, people, that's the problem with us and riding with those that believe. And maybe you just don't understand, but I heard this one pastor say one time when we were rapping in his church, he said, some of y'all older saints, you got to update your hard drive. Oh. Because you can't even download
that again. Boy.
You can't even download receivers coming in because you're outdated. You got to be able to update your hard drive so you can receive what God is doing. Wow. And look how it's changed now.
That's a heavy statement.
Christian hip-hop music is still the biggest growing genre of music right now. Everything else is not growing, but it is. Yeah. Because, you know, and we don't lie, we don't brag about the cars we got. I ain't lying about this house being mine. I'm telling real testimonies.
Got a fake chain, like, boy, we know. Put a little diamond thing on there, bro. It's all fake, man. Yeah, man. I'm gonna tell you something though, Bishop. Is the problem is, like you said, like nobody wants to change, man, and like we have to back these artists up, man. Mm-hmm. But one thing I'll tell you, man, is you got to know your place too. Yes. You know what I mean? So one day I'm doing a song, I'm trying to act like Miles. And God was like, bro, you don't even come from that era. You know what I mean? Like you're that Snoop Dogg. Like that's my era, bro. Right. That's what I used to listen to. You know what I mean? Like I used to bump, you know, DJ Quick and Sugar Free and all these artists, man. And so God was like, it was clear as day. God was like, you see how everything is going back right now is the 80s, right? We're about to hit the 90s, man. Yeah. All these youngsters, they're going to the neighborhoods and they want to be gangbangers and they're not even living that. Right. But they're going to the neighborhood so that way they can live it. Yeah. Well, we got to reach them too. Mm-hmm. Miles can't reach them. Right. But we have to utilize our music to reach. Yep. To reach them. You know what I mean? And so that's one thing that God showed me was like, just do you. Let Miles do Miles. Yes. You do you. Yes. Chosen Few does Chosen Few. Yes. Right. Brian T does Brian T. Yes. Right. EGR does EGR. Like you got to know your place in this music to reach a certain people. Mm-hmm. Your demographic. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you catch us at a car show. Miles probably won't be at a car show. Right. Why? Because he knows his demographic. Right. And so that's where a lot of people got to be okay with. Like, know your spot, man. Like me, as I probably won't be a pastor, but I'll make the pastor sound good. That's the problem. Like a lot of people are not okay with that. Right. I'm okay with that. Right. Like I know what God has for me. I know what the vision is, man. I know I'm supposed to put on events. You know what I mean? I know it. But are you able to serve at your church and be the sound guy now? Are you able to serve at the church and be the usher? You know what I mean? It's not everybody's supposed to be on the pulpit.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so sometimes, like with us, man, I think we were on the stage one time, me and my wife, and that was it. Why? Because we don't want to be out there like, hey, look at us, this is what we did. Like, nah, man, know your spot, know your place. And music, outside of ministry, inside of ministry, know your spot, man. And so, I just want to encourage everybody, man, like, know your spot. Like, if you're supposed to be the encourager to your niece and nephew, to your cousins, be that encourager for them to listen to Christian hip hop.
Yep.
Let them be like, hey, have you heard of Miles? Have you heard of this guy? Have you heard of that guy? Why? Because it's going to touch their heart and touch their mind, and they're going to want to come to church now. Yeah. Why? Because you're not judgmental.
No, and the demographic, man. The thing that you said is most important to understand. I'm 56 years old, bro. I'm a hip hop head.
Yeah, come on.
And if right now, if you're gonna hop in the car and ride with me, you're gonna hear Christian hip hop music. Yeah. Now I'm keyboardist at the church. I love all music. I'm an eclectic person like that. I'm all genres of stuff. But if I have my choice of what I'm gonna be listening to, right. So now that I'm an elder statesman, right? Yeah. That there's a whole lot of me's out there. Yeah. There's a whole lot of me's out there that's still in the nightclubs. Yeah. There's a whole lot of me's out there that's still out there doing. So that's why when the Lord speaks to me, He's like, what you're doing is going to still touch a whole lot of people. Because there's a lot of yous out there. Oh, that's good. So I'm not going to. Like Miles Minnick. I know of him. Yeah. But I don't. He's not one of the people that I listen to most.
Got you.
Love his music though. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And enjoy it. Yeah. I like. I didn't even listen to Andy Mineo that much until about 4 or 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying? I started listening to him more. Yeah. But I listen to more of them now because that's what I'm doing, right? Yeah. And even when you're DJing the world, you got to get everybody what's hot. You got to know what
bring them in. Yeah.
So the same thing now, and that's what I was saying even about. Like we see the secular do things, and we don't think we can do it that way. Yeah. Lord told me that a long time ago, man. That's Same way you used to promote those albums when you was hustling for street promotions for Priority Records, and you were hustling for street promotions for Relativity Records and Arista Records, and I promoted Biggie, Craig Mack, all of these dudes before they even became who they are. Cocaine, Above the Law. Wow. I promoted all of these cats in the clubs, on the radios, going to DJs in different places, on the radios. Back then, Music Pluses and Blockbusters setting up.
Oh, man. Remember that?
I used to do all of that stuff, man. And God says you do the same thing. Yeah, utilize. Don't let the old you outdo the new you. And we think that we can't put that understanding that we have into doing it for God. Yeah. No, we get these podcasts, man. You get out here and you preach. Yeah. You get out here and you pass out flyers. That's good. You get out here and you go to concerts. And then you link up with other churches. You link up with other people. You yourself, man. A lot of wisdom in the things you're speaking and talking about. This is how you know God sent you to do it. You know what I'm saying? So we have to work together at doing these things, and then don't be afraid to do things the way, because the enemy ain't do nothing but steal it.
Yeah, that's good.
Like I said, you ain't gonna see Love Connection on the halftime show at the Super Bowl, right? Yeah. They talk about they want good stuff, but we want real. But what?
That's all demonic, by the way. Anyway, you know what I mean?
Demonic. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think it was. I don't know if it was Lady Gaga, but when I first turned on the TV, man, they had. Playing the piano and everybody walking up and talking about helping the homeless people and the people in the fires and the people in Philadelphia. Yeah. But you got the devil. This the devil, right? She's a known devil.
Come on, somebody. Speaking.
You got the devil sitting there talking about helping people. Yeah. I said, God.
Yeah.
I was truly upset. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And the word of God is true, man. The more you learn about the Lord and the closer you get to God, the matter you get at things that's going on in the world and what you can see happening. I'm like, how are they talking about the love and helping people, and you got the devil singing the it's. I don't care, and me, man. I don't talk about other pastors. Yeah. The world, you can have it. Yeah. You're gonna get it from Red.
But here's the thing, too, Bishop, is you really think about it. If we don't give these artists a platform to go up on a stage to do certain things, right? What are they gonna do?
There you go.
They're gonna go running to the world. Because I don't have this. I want to be like you guys. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yo, you don't have to do that. Right. Like, here's what we have. You know what I mean? Like if we, like my goal, man, obviously it probably won't happen this year, but I would love to do four events throughout the year. You know what I mean? One up here, one up in the Bay Area, one in San Diego, one in LA. Boom, we just hit all four corners right here, right? But you know, the problem is that these guys don't have nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're doing it's hard to see because you go to you look at an event, man, and there's only 4 people there. 4 of them are the artists.
That's Angel. That's the problem. Like I said, with why we have to be content in what God says, and that's the difficulty in this.
Yeah,
I've seen it, man, with so many artists, bro.
Yeah.
The one that really clicked my heart, man, was dude from Cross Moment that came out recently saying that he don't follow Christian hip hop no more. He don't follow God. He's changing.
Wow.
Well, first of all, you never were, because if you were. But there's so many artists like that out there that they think about crossing over so they can make money. But you got to understand that they have to understand, bro, this is not about dollars and cents. This is about souls.
Yeah.
And it's different. And so that's why your artist development thing really clicked in me, man, because we have to train and teach that.
Yeah.
You know, there was a time when we used to count everybody that came in the church. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But then I'm reading in the Bible where David went through that whole process for numbering the people. And
That's good.
And the Lord spoke to my spirit. I said, you know what, we're not counting. No, don't worry about how many people here. Let's not think about numbers.
That's good.
Let's not think about that. We're just gonna serve the Lord, and who comes. And now we have more people now. If we counted, we'd probably be surprised. But we don't. We're not. You know what I'm saying?
Just doing it for.
We just have to do what God is. And Christian rap artists, and if they're gonna have to understand that part.
Yeah, that's good.
Because the problem is that you within the body.
Yeah.
There's dissension within the body. There's those that doesn't think this is really the right thing to do, and then you have those that messed up. Just like you got pastors that messed up. You gotta, it's gonna be there always. But we just have to keep pressing forward and doing what God has called.
Yeah.
And like you said, if God has given me the ability to be a gatekeeper and to open those doors,
right,
then I got to get to work.
Yeah.
Because the harvest is plenty, the laborers are few, right? So,
here's the crazy thing, man, is like these artists, man, you gotta know if you need money, learn how to do it elsewhere.
Yeah.
If you don't have a clothing brand as an artist and you're going to these events solo dolo and you don't have a table, you just messed up.
Yeah.
Because you could come out of there with $300-$400 off of that table.
You see these banners.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, CDs, have you, and even then, man, I started making the flash drives, right?
Yeah.
There's no CDs players in cars no more, right?
Facts.
But you have to learn to move with the times. You have to learn to do with the streaming and get a job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When I was traveling with Gospel Gangsters, bro, I worked the whole time.
That's good.
I made money traveling, right?
Right.
And good money, but I kept my job, and I was blessed to have the deacon from one of my churches, one that hired me at this group home I was working at.
Yeah.
So he gave me favor with being able to leave.
That's good.
But don't be dependent. And this is we're talking about a major group here.
Yeah.
We're in Rap City. You know what I mean? Like. But you can't get caught up in the hype of fame in this world. But you have to be stay working and stay level headed, and then this game is not what it used to be. Even you don't make money off of CD sales because people don't even have CDs in their cars. Everything is streamed now. You know the world is different, so it's different. But in that. Your music can go big just like anybody else's if you do it properly. So don't be afraid to promote like you have to. You have to do street promotions. All of these. When we wanted to do a show with a rapper, we always look to see whose album just came out.
Yeah.
Why? Because all you're going to have to do is pay for transportation and the hotel and make sure they got food. Yeah. You're not going to have to pay that big money for them to come out because their promotional staff are going to make sure they get there so they can promote these new albums.
Wow,
we got to do those same things.
That's heavy.
As a Christian, right?
Ooh, that's heavy.
Learn how to do these things so that way we can get out there and make it happen, man. So
that's heavy, man. That's why I tell everybody, man, just make sure you're on your toes. You know what I mean? Make sure you know what I mean? You know you could get paid for doing events.
Yeah.
Every event that you go to, man, you just got to log it in and you can get paid for that. You get paid for your streams. You get paid for videos that people post of your song on Instagram, TikTok, all the above. And if you don't have your stuff set up correctly, you just missed out.
Yeah.
You know
That's
what I mean?
one of the things that's bothering me about our album, man. It's a hot album, bro, but we can't even get it on Facebook. We got an album called Wade in the Water. And Wade in the Water is it's a public domain song.
Okay, got you.
So now they exclude the whole album
Wow.
from so that's we're still when I do feeds and stuff I use our songs from that album because that's not the same problem.
Right.
Although everything's publishing is good, everything's set, but they excluded us because of the pay on that one song, which I probably wouldn't even use.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But it's a beautiful song, man, and a great song, but that's one of the things I have to deal with because of that moving forward this. But I said, Lord, in your time you'll make it do what it's supposed to do. But
sometimes though, man, you might have to a couple of the songs, man, like we had a few songs that were like 3,000-4,000. Ended up taking it down. Why? Because the quality wasn't there. And just re-uploaded it. All right, cool. Hey, can't do that, man. Like you gotta every artist, man, you have to learn how to make the adjustment, man. And if something ain't working out and music ain't working, like this is what scares me, man. This is what I tell everybody. I tell every artist, most of the podcasts that I go on, if you're holding on to a song and you know, like obviously you got to do everything right. You know what I mean? Like get your beginning phase before you drop a single. Get your when the single drops, get your end phase right. Do your videos. Do what you have to do. But if you're holding on to a song that could have touched somebody's heart, you're holding on to people's lives that could have got saved, man. Don't jump so much. Don't be like, oh, I just want to hold this in the bank right here, and I just want to wait. Like, man, you could save a lot of people's lives by posting that out, man. Especially because a lot of people, like with us, man, we have a song called Future and Hope, right? And another song that's Forgiveness. So I went through unforgiveness till I was 22 years old, man. I couldn't forgive my dad. You know what I mean? Like he was you know what I mean? Like I would sit my brothers and sisters in front of me. He'll give them $100 and give me $2, right? Never could. Thought he said I wasn't his. All this, right? So I went with unforgiveness for 22 years. And one thing that I went to a church and the pastor was like, hey, the only thing you have to do is say his name and say I love you. That's it. And it took me 5 minutes, man, to even say that. Finally, I said it. I said his name and said I forgive you. And I just felt like a weight come off, right? So I wrote it down in a song about my experience, right? About how I went through A, B, and C. If I were to hold on to it now, how many people would be hurting? You know what I mean? They wouldn't be able to hear that song. And it's like, I tell every artist, just be careful, especially as a Christian artist, because you could burn yourself in the end because you're over here trying to be like, oh, well, I just want to wait on this song. What if that could have touched somebody's life, man?
Or either that or they're afraid of the business. You know, I don't want to, you know, I don't want nobody stealing this or man, you put this on, let them steal it, man. You know what I mean? Like with the streams and everything going now, anyway, bro. But get your business together. You know that stuff. I always encourage too, man. We got a little bit of time left. We actually 20 minutes over. But
come on, somebody.
Conversation's good, right? But we got the one thing I'm always tell artists, man, is listen. As a gatekeeper myself, and as somebody that came up in the game, when I want you to hear my song, and then you hear Andy Mineo's song, and you keep rocking. So I don't want to play my song, or let's say I play Andy Mineo's song, and then mine comes on next, and the quality drops. Right.
That's good.
You have to put the effort into your craft and into your music. So that because if you send it to me and I listen to it, I'm like, you know, I don't want to do this injustice to you too. You have to be, you know, put that effort into your craft. Good. Like I said, you listen to 93.5, but you've heard our songs. You just didn't know it was us.
That's crazy.
You know
That's amazing though.
Like I bet if I played the album, I heard that. You know what I mean? But you just, and that's my goal, man. I always say, look, I can make I want my album to look like it's got $1 million budget, man. Even though I had a couple $1,000, right?
Right.
And you can, and then that's why you were talking earlier. I did a lot myself. I couldn't afford to pay somebody to build a website and do all those things back then, so I had to learn to do it. I couldn't afford to pay people to do certain things and mix and master the song, so I had to take the knowledge that I had, and I had to spend hours and days remixing, remastering, and listening to it and making sure that it was clear and up. You know what I'm saying?
Quality,
Yeah. So it's that you have to put that into your craft as well, so that way. You get you go further with it, you know, because we're competing with it's others listening. And I don't want you to listen to my stuff. And then your revival fest will get back. People will give and help you because they see what you're doing.
Right.
Other people like myself will get involved and help you. Find a place where I can get in and fit in so I can help because what it's doing.
Right.
The same with your music. You know, a lot of people support us and help us because of what it's doing. And the message that's spoken. You know, and so these are the things that we look at. There's, like I said, there's a Cyrus out there that's going to bless you. There's a ram in the bush that God has set for you. So. I know you have another thing you got going on too. Right?
But it all ties back to the artist development program.
Yes.
If we set that standard, bro, and we say, hey, look, this is what we want to set the standard to. Now it's clear across the board. We got it. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, it's such a beautiful thing, man, to be here, man, just to share. We got to do a part 2 real soon.
Oh, most definitely, brother.
It just seemed like it went quick, huh? Yes.
Come holler at you, man. Tell them about the festival, when everything's going on, the date and everything. Some of the people you got locked down. I mean, you probably got more happening, but let the folks know before we take off, man, and tell us what's going on with
Most definitely. So May 31st, make sure you guys come on out to the Adelanto Stadium. We got some of the biggest Christian hip-hop artists that are going to be blessing the stage. We also have a car show that's going to be happening in the front, man. We want to suggest you guys to come on out, get your car and bike show registered. We also got a dope lineup out there in the car show area with some amazing artists, man. Even B-Cam, he's from Long Beach. We got Trouble Free from VO. We have OGK Joshua in that area. But also on the main stage, man, we have CJ Emilis, Tommy Zuko. We have Dayton. We got my brothers Southside Tim and 2 Samoans from the Bay Area that are going to come in. And we're just trying to bring unity to the community, man. If you would like to sponsor, you can reach out to us. We do need help with that area, man. If you would like to come out and support the unity in the community, it don't matter what church you go to. It doesn't matter what body you're serving under. Just come on out and enjoy the festival of just music, man, and just share the love of Jesus, man. We want you to bring your unsaved loved ones. We want to bring your family. We want you to come out and enjoy the food, the vendors. We have a kid area that we're going to be coming, that's going to be popping up there. And we just got so much for the family. And we just want you guys to come on out. May 31st is from 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. All-day festival with just music, everything that's going to be popping off that day. And we got a special guest coming out, man. You guys don't want to miss it. I can't share it yet until we announce it, but if you guys want to follow us at SoCalRevivalFest.com or on our Instagram at SoCal Revival Fest, you can follow us there, and we're going to be announcing more artists soon. But Bishop, man, thank you for allowing me to be here and just share, man.
I appreciate it, bro. This is the longest podcast we've done so far.
Man, come on, somebody.
So we got to make sure it's been a good conversation, man. And I don't want to cut short what God is doing, so. I appreciate you coming on, man, and chopping it up with us, brother. It's been a pleasure. We'll do it again and again. When we can come out and be with you guys, man, we love to do it. Listen, shout out to everybody. I know we had a few more questions. I'm sorry, folks, we don't have time. I try to keep it at the right times, and I know my brother has another appointment that he has to get to as well. But look, we appreciate you here on God First Everyday Podcast. Check us out next Monday at 6 p.m. That's our new time now. 6 p.m. every Monday. Keep God first every day in your life. Big shout out again to our sponsors, Dixon Pest Control. Check them out at info at Dixon Pest Control. High Desert Scrubs, highdesertscrubs.com. Also on the corner of Bear Valley and 7th Street over in Victorville. And Epic Hair Salon, also on the corner of 7th and Bear Valley behind the AM/PM. Big shout out to Spiritfield Family Church, all my Spiritfield family. Big shout out to my wife, Lady Love. all of our folks working out, Deacon John, Cynthia here, Brother Rashad, and Nevaeh, and Deacon Maurice, and everybody else that helps out with the podcast. We love you all. Listen, see you next Monday. Join us in, get in the conversation. Click that subscribe button. Don't come watch and don't click it. Help us out. Amen. Yeah. Click like, click subscribe. Okay? Keep God first in your life every day. He's the reason why we're breathing. So trust in him with everything. Amen. God bless you. We'll see you next time on the podcast.